Hey folks, and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Racing Show here at RacePlazaMedia. My name is Pia, and we're back from a mini unplanned summer break just in time for the Formula One race that happened this past weekend in Zandvoort in the Netherlands. And what a race it was. I'm so glad Formula One is finally back after their break. And it was a good race, I would say. It was not the best race ever, but it was a pretty good race. And I will share with you my top 4 moments of this weekend's race. We'll go in chronological order. So let's start with number 1, the start of the race. Of course, as you probably already know, Lando Norris had the pole position. In second was Max Verstappen, and third, Oscar Piastri. So, of course, Max was sandwiched in by both papaya drivers. So it was the question whether or not Lando will have a good start and will retain the lead, or if Max Verstappen, who has won the last couple of races at Zandvoort, will take the lead again and maybe even win the full race. However, unfortunately, Lando didn't have the best start. He got on the accelerator pretty fast, but he didn't really move, which was unfortunate because not only did he lose pole position to Max Verstappen, but it also seemed like he was boxing in Oscar Piastri a bit, which inhibited his start as well. I do want to give a shout out also to Pierre Gasly, who had an excellent start that race. And also he aided a little bit from Albon being disqualified from qualifying, so he had to start all the way at the end of the track, which enabled Gasly to start on the left side of the track, which gave him a really nice line to overtake 2 people right off the bat. And overall, I would definitely have to say Gasly had a really nice race, an excellent race considering the past of Alpine, at least this year's past of Alpine. So there is maybe some hope that he/they Alpine will be doing better. Going along with this point, before we move on to point number 2, I wanted to give a big shout out and a congratulations to Jack Doohan, who is officially next year going to be the second Alpine driver. He's a rookie who has lots of experience in F2. I'm sure if you've watched F1 TV, you've seen him as a co-host for the post and pre-shows. And so now he will be joining the official F1 Alpine team. He has been a really big asset for them in the simulator these past races, the past 1.5 years. So it's really nice to see that he's getting the opportunity to get into the Alpine next year. I'm a little bit upset of how Alpine treated Mick Schumacher, because they didn't even tell Mick Schumacher that Jack was getting the seat until he had seen it actually on social media. So that's a little bit disappointing, because Mick holds a special place in my heart as a German, and also as him being the son of the great Michael Schumacher. I'm always hoping that he will get another opportunity on the grid, but maybe there's a different way for him to come onto the grid. If not, I know he's been very successful in endurance racing for Alpine already. Moving on to number 2. Number 2, of course, is around lap 17, where Lando Norris overtook Max Verstappen and regained the lead. And not only did he regain the lead, he drove out an incredible lead. So that by the end of the race, spoiler, he ended up winning by 22 seconds. I mean, isn't that incredible? That's a max lead that we're used to from especially last season. I didn't expect that to happen for this race. I mean, the McLaren is just incredible pace. I mean, Oscar Piastri was also saying in the post-race interviews that he's really not worried about any of the tracks coming up because the car is so good. Unfortunately, speaking of Oscar Piastri, he was a little bit stuck behind Leclerc for a big chunk of the race. He didn't have the opportunity in the dirty air to overtake Leclerc, because otherwise I do truly believe that he would have had a chance to at least compete with Max Verstappen or fight for that second place podium, or he would have landed, of course, on the podium. Moving on to my top third moment of the race at Zandvoort. I mean, it was an incredible moment. It was around lap 40. If you've not seen it, definitely check it out. So lap 40, Kevin Magnussen in the Haas was driving across the finish line, and then suddenly, especially if you see the view of Magnussen's cockpit, you can suddenly see one car passing and another car passing and another car passing. 4 cars passed him on just the finish line straight. So it was Albon started it all off, then it was both Aston Martins and then also Pierre Gasly all in one wash just past him, which is, I mean, it's an incredible feat for Formula One, but also considering Magnussen had not changed his tires by that point. He was on his tires for the longest out of everybody at that point. I mean, I think as a driver from that perspective, it must be so frustrating just seeing vroom, 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 cars just passing you left and right, because it's not easy to pass, period, in Formula One. Of course, the starting straight with DRS definitely gave all of those drivers a big leg up, but still, that 4 cars past you in that one single straight, and your car doesn't have a major issue. It's not like slowing down or anything. It's just due to tire degradation or versus new tires. Oof, that was tough to watch on one side if you're feeling for Magnussen, but on the other side, what of you seeing those cars just fly by? And then now moving on to the final top 4 moment for me of the race. Of course, I've spoiled it already a little bit. Lando Norris won the race, his second race ever to win. He won his first race this year in Miami, which was not contested, but some people say, oh, well, he only won because of the safety car, which is part of racing. However, this time he really won 100% due to his own merit. He drove an excellent race. I mean, he ended up leading by 22 seconds at the end. Clean air, of course, is a really nice benefit, but the McLaren just has this great pace at the moment, which is really fun to see. And not only did he win the race, but he ended up in the last lap pushing a little bit extra, so he got the fastest lap by, I think it was a thousandth, compared to Hamilton, who had the fastest lap before, who had switched several laps earlier to the soft tires. But man, not only did he win the race, he got the fastest lap in the last lap with older tires already. I mean, he didn't need to push. He could have just been like safely taking it home. I mean, he had a 22-second lead, but no, he wanted that extra point. And now because of that, he has the most point he has ever had in a Formula One season. And it's not over yet. We still have, I think, 10 races this season, and he's already at the top of his game so far. Of course, there's lots of talk now whether or not Lando can earn the driver championship overall this season. If he can still take it away from Max, there's a 70-point difference at this very moment. So Max Verstappen has 295 points and Lando Norris has 225 points at this very moment. So we'll see how much fighting there will be. I mean, I think there'll definitely be a lot of on-track fighting, but we'll see how close it will get by the end of the season. It really depends on also how the McLaren car fares and the Red Bull car fares. I know Max was complaining this weekend a lot about different types of issues. There was some balance issues. He didn't have grip. So we'll see if that changes moving forward. However, a bigger or a closer fight will be the overall Constructors' Championship, because right now Red Bull is leading by 434 points, but McLaren is only 30 points behind with 404 points. And in the last couple of races, the McLaren duo of Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri have been doing better than the Red Bull duo of Max Verstappen and Checo Perez, which you already know that Checo was a little bit of trouble going into the summer break. However, he was able to retain his seat for now. I mean, there's lots of rumors cooking as per usual in the F1 kitchen that Checo might only get to keep his seat because he has all these sponsors that will actually pay the difference if they don't win the Constructor Championship. I don't know how true this is. I mean, I think me personally, as an outside person having nothing to do with the money in the F1 part, I think the car should go to the best driver. So the question is Checo still the best driver for the Red Bull seat? But you let me know in the comments below what you think. Do you think, one, Lando will fight to win the driver championship? 2, will McLaren maybe win the driver championship? This will be the first time they win the constructor championship since, I believe, David Coulthard was a McLaren driver, and that was in the late 90s, guys. So it's been a very, very long time for McLaren. I personally am rooting for them, so I might be a little bit biased, but you let me know in the comments below what you think. Overall, share if you agree with the top moments of this race. I know there were some great other moments in there as well. I want to give a quick little shout out to Charles Leclerc, who did an excellent race. He ended up on the podium, which was very much unexpected, especially going into the first practice sessions. Ferrari were not as great. Also, Sainz did really well. He placed higher at the end than they had anticipated, which is always beautiful. And also, our boy Sir Lewis Hamilton did really well, considering he started quite far back in the grid because of not only poor quali 2 session, and then also the grid penalty because he was impeding Checo Perez. But that's a whole other discussion right there. But yeah, overall, I think it was a decent race. It was not the best race ever. There's some really nice moments in there. So let me know what your favorite moments were and what you're looking forward to for the remainder of this Formula One season. So that's it for me for today. Tomorrow, I will talk to you guys about the F1 Academy races that happened this weekend. 2 races, also at Zandvoort. So I will talk about my favorite top moments of F1 Academy. So tune in for that as well. I'll see you then. Thank you for tuning in. Please remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys tomorrow here at the Daily Racing Show. Bye-bye.